Hello, hello. Welcome to season 5 of Lead Your Life with Debbie Heiser. My name is Debbie Heiser, and I help entrepreneurs make a lot of money doing what they love without sacrificing what's important to them. I see way too many business people letting their businesses or their jobs run their lives versus them figuring out with real clarity about what they want their lives to look like and having their job or their business be the conduit to have that life that they absolutely love. I want to thank you so much for listening in to season 5. This season is filled with motivation, inspiration, leadership, and wisdom from some super interesting guests, and myself included. My hope is through our shared experiences, you will see a bit of yourself and move further into leading your own lit up life. If you're enjoying this podcast, please feel free to share with others and leave a rating, and a comment or two would be awesome too. Let's get going. Thanks again for being a part of our community.
Straight from the corners of my mind is where I find my sanity.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lead Your Life with Debbie Heiser. My name is Debbie Heiser. I help entrepreneurs make a lot of money doing what they love without sacrificing what's important to them. I see way too many business owners and career-minded people. I did it myself, where I let my career or my business run my life versus getting really, really crystal clear on what I wanted my life to look like, and then allowed the career or the business to be the conduit to make that happen. So welcome. I am going to talk a little bit. I don't know why I've been feeling a little cheesy lately. And so with this being March, I thought, how can I play off of St. Patrick's Day and the traditional St. Patrick's Day with this whole idea of luck and a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow type of thing. And I thought, you know what, there's kind of two ways I want to go with this. So I think this first one, I'm going to talk about the pot of gold. The second one, we're going to talk a little bit about luck. So when I think about a pot of gold, I was kind of then going to, what does success mean to us? And one of the things that I work a lot with clients on is defining what success means to them, and really taking a look at numerous different areas in our lives. And so if you're listening to this, first of all, thank you. But think about, there's a few core pieces here. One is physical health. What do you want your physical health to look like? We're no good to anyone, ourselves or our families or anyone else, if we're not physically healthy. And I feel like I've actually gotten healthier as I've gotten older. There's still things I'm working on, but it's a constant journey. And so thinking about physically, what does it mean to you to be physically healthy? And not only what does it mean to you, but how do you feel? Like if you envision yourself as physically healthy, whatever that means to you, how does it feel to be that physically healthy person? And the feeling part of it is really important. And it's important because it helps us tap into the heart space. The other key piece with this is the physical health. Then there's the spiritual health. Regardless of what your belief system is, how do you want to tap into that bigger, that not the ego, but the big S self, like that spiritual component of who you are? What does that look like for you? And what does that feel like? The same thing holds true for your emotional health. And the same thing holds true for your intellectual health. How do you want to grow and learn? Then we look at different other capacities, like how do I want to contribute to my community? What do I want my business or career to look like? What do I want from a financial perspective? And that's different than business, because there are things financially that you do that sometimes aren't attached to a business or your career or the money you're making in a job, or what I call a W-2 job. There's also relationships, and those relationships can kind of be broken down to family and non-family. And what does that look like for you? Now, the thing that you have to be careful of with this, there's a couple of things you have to be careful of, is one, being tied to the outcome. You want to have a goal, And as you look at how you would like to be, you don't want to spend so much time in the future because the future can create anxiety, but it's about having a map of where you want to head and being open if something starts to change a little bit with that. Now, as you look at all of those areas, it's important to kind of identify, and it's really important to not compare. So what it is identifying for you what you want your environment to look like. Like, I'm on a mission to get rid of 50% of what I own. I've cleaned out some things here at my office and I'm shedding those things because I'm not using them and other people may want to use certain things. So am I giving a lot of things away? Absolutely. And I'm donating a lot of things, but some things I'm just getting rid of. I'm trying really hard not to overbuy in food so that my refrigerator is not stocked full and I end up throwing food away. That drives me bonkers. So for me, success in that realm of an environment means not having clutter, because your external environment is really a representation of your internal heart. And so I want to get rid of the clutter because I feel like I'm very clear now on where I'm heading, what I'm doing. And I feel like sometimes with all of the clutter around me, that weighs me down from being able to do the things that I want to do. I remember when Brent and I first moved to Sandpoint, I was living with my best friend, and then we moved up to an apartment with a good friend of ours, and then moved into the cabin while our house was being built. And the space was not big. So we had a storage locker with, storage where we had a lot of our stuff that we were putting in our house, bedroom sets, that kind of thing. But it was interesting how free we felt because we didn't have all of that stuff. So again, that's kind of an environment piece of it. And then I think about what I watch, like a long time ago, I used to watch The Walking Dead before I'd go to bed, and then I couldn't fall asleep because I was so wound up from it. So even thinking about what I'm putting into my brain and what I'm putting into what's happening in life. So when I think about those kinds of things, it's important to look at your desires. Like, what is it that I want in those things? Not compare to other people or compare to, here's the kick in the pants that happens, is a lot of times because of double binds, because of loyalty packs, because of the messaging we received as a child, again, not blaming parents, but messages we received in numerous different ways. And today we're still receiving them in movies and entertainment all the time. We create what success sometimes means to us based on the constructs that were built for us in religion, in society, in entertainment, in our family culture, our tribal culture, when in fact, we may have been fighting that, which is this dichotomy of tension, because we want to be different than our tribe. And I know that was a big thing for me. When I moved to Idaho, that was very different. And a lot of my family, now my other sister, one of them lives in Pasadena, the other one still lives in Kansas City, but there's a lot of my extended family that still lives within about a 3-hour radius of each other, because that's just the way we did it. And it's not wrong in any way, shape, or form. It was time for me to move to a different place. Right. And it was so freeing. And it wasn't freeing from the fact that I felt like I was getting away from my family. I miss my family dearly. Like I deeply miss them. And I road trip back so that I can spend a couple of weeks there. But I had to look at the constructs of what I felt I should and shouldn't be doing, which is then my critical parent in my head. Because really, whenever I say I should be doing something, it's like, according to who? Like, according to whom should I not move? Or according to whom should I do this particular thing? And again, it's about then being able to unwind what are some of the constructs that I have in my own mind about those things, about what I feel like I should be doing because I'm the oldest and the role model, because of what I should be doing because I grew up in the Midwest, and You went to college, you got married, you had children, you got a job, you lived 8 to 5. Nothing wrong with that at all. So please don't take that as a judgment. I was to the point in my life where I was like, that's not for me anymore. And I can't continue to live in the space of tension anymore. So really the pot of gold, I guess, to sum this up, and this one might be a little bit of a shorter podcast, but to sum it up, is what is success for you? For me, it's about having peace of mind. It's about who I show up as in the world. Am I showing up in love for other people, or am I showing up in fear and judgment? Now, I show up in fear and judgment. My adolescent roars out a lot, but I'm aware of it, and I continue to kind of work on it. And I continue to look at those things, not through the lens of judgment, because when I judge myself, when I judge other people, that puts off a vibration. And what happens is it spirals the vibration and it lowers the vibration. When in fact, I want to be a higher vibration. I want to, not positive toxicity. I think that there's a real danger in that, but I want to be somebody that is in a high vibration, that I bring life to people. And we've all had people in our lives where they bring us down, right? And I don't want to be that. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to be authentic and I'm not going to be real when there's things bothering me. I spent some time with my best friend in Charleston, and I was talking about a relationship I was in, and like something that was kind of bugging me, and I couldn't figure out why it was bugging me so badly. And, like it was really kind of shitty, to be honest. And I was angry about it. And so kind of working through that. So it's not that it's a positive toxicity place, but I want to show up with a high vibration. So success to me is being grounded, having peace, being able to show up in love. And that's part of what I strive for every day. Now, sometimes what I do is then when we look at this, all these different categories, that's how I can show like some progress. And, I guess there's a part of me that wants to argue, why do you have to show progress? But for those of us that are achievement orientation, that's kind of important. But like, it helps me know where I'm going. I can take off on a road trip, and there are times I take off and I don't care where I go and I'm just going. But there's other times I kind of want to know where I'm heading. Doesn't mean that I can't meander off and take a side road or do something different or be open to possibilities of something. But I have a little bit of an idea, but I'm not tied to the outcome. And that's another podcast that we'll talk about. And because being tied to the outcome can create both some positive things and a lot of times creates disappointment. So when you think about the pot of gold, define for yourself what success is without comparing, without trying to please someone or be the person that you think others think you should be. So take a few minutes and do that. Figure out what that is for you. What is your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? And with that, I hope everybody has a wonderful beginning of March, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks so much for listening. The song Ride is co-written and sung by Miss Jackie Wilson and her collaborators Tyler Banks, David DJ Lee, and Chris Renee. And a huge shout out to them for allowing us to use this perfect song. Everyone have a fabulous week, and I'll talk to you next week.
Find your own kind of happy.